Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. Who in your world is memorable for their kindness? Last week, I wrote about Kathy Jerome, who is so generous in helping people. My nudge came for this week's podcast after my surgery at Mayo for carpal tunnel last Tuesday. I met my orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Rizzo, at my diagnostic appointment. He was amazingly kind and gentle. I went home and told my husband and daughter how much I liked him. When we got to the hospital on the day of surgery, my nurse Melissa was so fun, interesting, transparent, and real. We talked about the amazing qualities we had experienced in Dr. Rizzo. Melissa said he is beloved there. She told about an incident once. At the end of the day during the last surgery, he had taken extra measures and time because he felt the patient deserved it. Everybody was ready to be gone, and so he sent them home, and then he took the responsibility and time to take the patient back to the room himself. His kindness is so real that you love him immediately. He spent time with us, shared things about his life with us, made us feel like we were his most important patient. As I thought about Dr. Rizzo, it came to me. Would you not like to be loved? Don't we all want to be loved? It was so easy to love Dr. Rizzo. He extended such compassion and kindness. It wasn't fake. It wasn't to make a buck for Mayo. It was for our comfort and well being. When we treat people with compassion and care, those receivers of that compassion and care grow a connection to us by how we make them feel. Don't you want to be loved? So, why does our society accept that treating people with disregard and disrespect is the response they deserve just by being? Often, our society promotes developing callousness within us to remove us from the need to show compassionate care to everyone in our path. It's as if the norm is to expect rudeness, toxic personalities, narcissistic expectations, as we see in messages through media, TV shows, political ads and debates, as well as in the break rooms at work. But it doesn't have to be this way. In the end, doesn't everybody just want to be loved? I have said many times that we are born with two instincts. One is the ability to suck, and the other is the need to belong. When we feel we belong, we feel we are loved. It's instinctive. People die without love. I believe we have the choice to be a Dr. Rizzo or Nurse Melissa. As Mother Teresa said, let no one come to you without leaving better. James Clear says in his book Atomic Habits, one of the most effective things you can do to build better habits is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Your culture sets your expectation for what is normal. Surround yourself with people who have the habits you want to have yourself. Hmm. However, I believe if you are a habitual complainer, critic, naysayer, and generally negative, it might be easier said than done. But I believe there is a secret. In the children's book, The Quilt Maker's Gift by Jeff Brumbaugh, there's a greedy king who yearns to be happy. He amassed great treasures, but he was still not happy. He thinks there must be one thing that he can have that would make him happy. One day he learns of a magical quilt maker who lives in the mountains. He was furious as he wondered why he didn't have one of those quilts and was told that the quilt maker only makes them for the poor. The king was determined that he should surely have one of those gifts, those quilts, because he was king. When he went to her house, he demanded a quilt, but she just laughed and told him that the quilts were only for the poor and needy, and that he was neither of those. Angrily, he demanded that she give him one. She thought for a moment and said, "Hmm, make presents of everything you own, and then I will make a quilt for you. With each gift that you give, I will sew in another piece. When at last all your things are gone, your quilt will be finished." He tried all the nasty things he could think of to convince her to give him a quilt. Finally, he realized he couldn't change her mind, and so he began to give his treasures away. In the end, with his royal clothes in tatters, but his eyes glistening with joy, the quilt maker unfolded the king's quilt from her bag and wrapped it around the happy king. I wonder if that story is telling us that when we regard giving of ourselves as our most important priority, we live with the greatest joy. We don't have to try to be loved because we are living love. Michael Bernard Beckwith said, "To be present in the moment is to live in a state of grace." It seems that people who are beloved are the kind of people that are present in the moment. They live in grace because they are focused on those around them and not on themselves. They don't have to wonder if they are loved because all they want is to give it away. So thank you for letting me write about you, Dr. Rizzo. You remind us that love easily comes from spreading kindness. This week on your bathroom mirror, write, "I will be kind because I want to love." And then watch it come back to you. Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.